Ah, yes, the Star Wars fanbase. We're a passionate bunch. We sure love talking about Star Wars, especially after Disney took over. Let's look at the state of the fanbase. I'm sure people are talking in a very peaceful and civilized manner, right? Oh, okay, maybe not. Alright, so what are people arguing about? Ugh, of course. So instead of just beating a dead bantha here, let's look at things from a bit of a different perspective. Let's see what quotes people associate with Star Wars recently, and maybe that'll help us. Let's hear some people speak.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Right? Let's start with the first quote.
Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to.
Okay, that's meaningless. But it also has multiple meanings. Yeah, that sounds like it contradicts itself, but listen. What it means is based on your perspective. Whether you love or hate The Last Jedi, you have to admit, people fight over this movie. A lot. And a lot of it comes down to this quote. But what does this quote mean? It's not really a straightforward answer as many people think. After The Force Awakens, people didn't like the fact that it was basically a copy of A New Hope. So Rian Johnson responded by putting this quote in the trailer. Now, there are two ways to look at this. If you think that Let the Past Die means you don't think the new trilogy should use the original trilogy as a crutch, and instead should stand on its own, this quote is simply an appeal to creativity. And that people writing and directing this should have some freedom to do their own thing and make something original. You simply don't want to do the same stuff as before, regardless of how good the original trilogy was. However, if you think that Let the Past Die means you have to trash the old characters with character assassination and essentially use them as jobbers to make the new characters look better, then Let the Past Die is the creator saying that your favorite characters are bad and you should feel bad for liking them. Once someone has decided which of these two things they believe, they're not going to change their mind, so nothing you say will get them to budge. People, by nature, don't want to admit that they're wrong. So if you present your side, which is the opposite of what they believe, they will make an excuse and double down on their own beliefs, which will only make them more confident in what they originally believed. And they'll also claim the moral high ground.
I have the high ground!
Let's take a look at another thought fans have a lot. I don't want politics in Star Wars. I don't like politics in Star Wars. This can mean so many things. They might be referring to in-universe politics, like the Senate meetings from the prequels. Now, the politics in the prequels were often considered boring. They slowed down the plot, the action, and the character development. But it improved the world building. If this is what someone means by politics, then that person just wants characters and action instead of world building. And that opinion has both pros and cons from a storytelling perspective. Now, let's look at the other definitions of politics. Maybe they're talking about real-world politics.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Someone says they don't want this type of politics, that could also mean different things. If by real-world politics you mean subtle analogies to the real world, in order to help us better relate to what's happening, then saying someone doesn't want this, you'll interpret as them just wanting mindless entertainment that is completely devoid of themes. However, if someone thinks that real-world politics refers to blatantly hitting the audience in the head with the writer's ideology and sacrificing plot and internal consistency for doing this, then not wanting politics in Star Wars is just a request for wanting good entertainment. Either way, convincing someone on the other side isn't worth your time, because you two are already working with different definitions of real-world politics. Now, let's look at another issue. Kathleen Kennedy and her whole female empowerment agenda that may or may not be happening.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, I'm talking about this. Now, Kathleen Kennedy has referred to wanting to make Star Wars more appealing to women. There's a few ways this could be taken. Let's look at 3. The first is that Kennedy is a business person wanting to increase her customer base. In this case, she's just acting the way most professionals would do. Now, let's look at the 2 perspectives that are really fighting each other and where a lot of the problems are coming from. If making Star Wars more appealing to women means simply giving female fans more characters of their own gender they can relate to, then saying that Star Wars needs to be more appealing to women is just trying to show certain fans who feel forgotten that they are not forgotten. But if you interpret Kennedy saying this as she wants to make men look bad in order to make women look like perfect beings by comparison, then Kathleen Kennedy is just as sexist as the people she's fighting against.
Now you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Either way, you're not going to change the opinion of someone on the other side.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil!
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil!
So, what do people mean by their statements? What does kill the past mean? What does no politics mean? What does make Star Wars more appealing to women mean? Well, you've seen the records, right? What do you think?
Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.